You call it betrayal. You call it abuse. You call it the cruelest wound ever carved into your tender flesh. But what if I told you that you're wrong? What if the person who destroyed you was actually your greatest teacher? What if that searing pain you carry like a sacred burden was never meant to define you, but to refine you? You've been telling yourself a lie, a beautiful, seductive lie that keeps you small, keeps you broken, keeps you addicted to your own suffering. You think they hurt you, but they didn't hurt you at all. They revealed you. Every sleepless night you spent replaying their words. Every tear that burned down your cheek. Every moment you felt your heart shatter into 1,000 pieces. None of that was them breaking you. That was you discovering the places where you were already broken. That was you meeting the wounds that existed long before they ever walked into your life. That was you encountering the parts of yourself you had hidden, denied, suppressed, and refused to heal. They didn't create your pain. They activated it. They didn't plant your insecurities. They watered what was already growing in the dark soil of your unconscious mind. You gave them credit for powers they never possessed. You made them the author of a story they were never writing. From the moment you could walk, you were taught to believe in your own fragility. Your parents wrapped you in cotton. Your teachers told you to be careful. Your culture whispered that you are delicate, that others have the power to break you, that your happiness depends on their kindness. You learned to make yourself a victim before anyone could make you one. They told you that love meant never saying no, that peace meant avoiding conflict, that strength meant enduring abuse with a smile, that forgiveness meant letting others walk all over your boundaries while you convinced yourself it was spiritual to disappear. So when that person came into your life, that lover who left, that friend who betrayed, that family member who wounded, you gave them a power they never actually possessed. You handed them the keys to your inner kingdom and said, "Here, destroy this for me." But here's what they never told you in Sunday school, in therapy, and all those self-help books that promise to heal your broken heart. You cannot be broken by what is outside of you. You can only be revealed. That person didn't create your insecurity. They exposed it. They didn't plant your fear. They watered what was already growing in the shadows of your soul. They didn't wound you. They showed you where you were already bleeding. Your pain is not their creation. It is your teacher. Think about it. If 10 different people experience the same betrayal, why do they respond in 10 different ways? Why does one person crumble while another becomes stronger? Why does one person become bitter while another becomes wise? Because the betrayal isn't happening to you. It's happening through you. It's revealing what was already there, waiting to be seen, waiting to be healed, waiting to be transformed. The person who hurt you was just the messenger. The message was already written in the unhealed places of your heart. You've been shooting the messenger instead of reading the message. The ancient Stoics understood what we have forgotten, that no external force can touch the essence of who you are. Epictetus, who was born a slave, knew that chains could bind his body but never his spirit. Marcus Aurelius, who ruled an empire, knew that praise and criticism were equally powerless to define his worth. You have power over your mind, not outside events, Marcus wrote in his private journal. Realize this, and you will find strength. But we have forgotten this ancient wisdom. We have become slaves to our reactions, prisoners of our triggers, victims of our own interpretations. You are not a leaf blown by every wind of circumstance. You are not a house of cards that collapses at the first tremor. You are not a candle that dies when someone blows upon it. You are the mountain that remains, unmoved while storms rage across its face. You are the ocean that accepts every river but is never changed by their waters. You are the space that holds all things but is contaminated by nothing. But you've been living as if you were made of glass, as if you were constructed from the opinions of others, as if your very existence depended on their approval, their love, their gentle handling of your supposedly fragile heart. This is the great illusion. This is the lie that keeps you imprisoned in your own victim story. The Buddha taught that suffering is not what happens to you. Suffering is your resistance to what happens to you. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. Jung revealed that what we resist persists and what we don't own owns us. The very people who trigger us the most are showing us the parts of ourselves we refuse to see. Nietzsche declared that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, but he meant something deeper than mere survival. He meant that every challenge is an invitation to become who you were always meant to be. These weren't just philosophical concepts to debate in university classrooms. These were maps for navigating the human condition. These were instructions for freedom. Freedom from the tyranny of other people's actions. Freedom from the prison of your own reactions. Freedom from the illusion that your peace depends on anyone other than yourself. Now I offer you a different truth, a radical truth, a truth that will make you dangerous to those who profit from your weakness. True strength doesn't come from never being hurt. It comes from transforming every wound into wisdom, every betrayal into breakthrough, every abandonment into awakening. The person who hurt you was actually performing a sacred service. They were the surgeon who cut away your illusions. They were the fire that burned away what was false in you. They were the earthquake that shook loose everything that wasn't authentically yours. This is the new virtue. Gratitude for your teachers, even the cruel ones. Especially the cruel ones. Because anyone can love you when you're easy to love. Anyone can be kind when kindness costs nothing. Anyone can be loyal when loyalty brings rewards. But it takes a special kind of soul to show you exactly where you need to grow, to mirror back your deepest wounds, to refuse to enable your victim stories, to love you enough to let you hate them while you learn to heal yourself. They didn't destroy you. They decoded you. They revealed the blueprint of your unhealed places, your unintegrated shadows, your unloved parts. And now you have a map. Now you know exactly where the work needs to be done. Imagine if you could see every difficult person in your life as a personal trainer for your soul, every criticism as a gift wrapped in ugly paper, every rejection as a redirection toward your authentic path. Imagine if you could thank the person who broke your heart for showing you how much love you were withholding from yourself. Thank the friend who betrayed you for revealing your need to learn discernment. Thank the parent who wounded you for illuminating the parts of yourself that still needed your own nurturing. This is not about excusing bad behavior. This is not about becoming a doormat or enabling abuse. This is about reclaiming your power from the people you've been letting control your inner world. This is about recognizing that every person who has ever challenged you was actually strengthening you. Every person who has ever triggered you was actually teaching you. Every person who has ever hurt you was actually healing you by showing you exactly where your healing needed to happen. The new virtue is not the absence of pain. The new virtue is the transformation of pain into power, wounds into wisdom, trauma into triumph. You are not a victim of your experiences. You are the author of your responses. You are not broken by your past. You are built by how you choose to interpret it. But even this understanding must die. Even this gratitude, this reframing, this spiritual superiority of seeing yourself as the hero of your healing journey, this too must be released. Even this beautiful story of transformation, this identity as someone who turns wounds into wisdom, this also must dissolve into the silence from which all stories emerge. Because the deepest healing happens not in the noise of analysis, not in the drama of transformation stories, not in the performance of being healed. It happens in the silence where you stop making meaning from your pain, where you stop turning your wounds into identity, where you stop needing to be either victim or victor, broken or whole, hurt or healed. In that silence, you discover something remarkable. You were never broken to begin with. The person you thought hurt you was just revealing what was always already perfect in you, your infinite capacity to experience, to feel, to love, to choose, to begin again. In the silence, you realize that healing was never about fixing what was wrong with you. It was about remembering what was always right with you. The wound was always holy. The pain was always purposeful. The breaking was always becoming. And now in this sacred silence, you can let it all go. The story of being hurt. The story of being healed. The story of being anything other than the pure awareness that witnesses it all. This is the ultimate Teaching that your greatest teachers came to give you. Not just how to heal, but how to transcend the very need for healing. Not just how to transform your wounds, but how to recognize that you were never wounded in the first place. You are the space in which all experiences arise and pass away. You are the consciousness that remains untouched by every drama that plays across the screen of your life. The betrayal happened in you, but it was not you. The pain happened through you, but it was not you. The healing happened to you, but it was not you. You are the eternal witness, the unchanging presence, the aware stillness that watches every story begin and end without being defined by any of them. This is why even your healing must be surrendered. This is why even your growth must be released. This is why even your transformation must be dissolved back into the silence from which it emerged. Not because healing and growth and transformation are meaningless, but because they are temporary costumes worn by the eternal self that you truly are. In the silence, all costumes fall away. In the silence, all stories end. In the silence, only truth remains. And the truth is this: you have never been anything other than whole. You have never been anything other than perfect. You have never been anything other than free. If these words have stirred something in you, if you feel the tremor of recognition in your bones, if you sense the awakening of a truth you've always known but forgotten, then write this commitment in the comments below. I choose to see my teachers in everyone who has ever challenged me. Write it not as a belief but as a declaration, not as a theory but as a lived truth, not as something you understand, but as something you embody. Write it as a promise to yourself that you will no longer give away your power to other people's actions, that you will no longer make your peace dependent on their behavior, that you will no longer wait for apologies that may never come or understanding that may never dawn. Write it as a commitment to take full responsibility for your inner world, regardless of what's happening in your outer world. And then watch what happens. Watch how your relationship with your past transforms. Watch how your story of victimhood dissolves into a story of initiation. Watch how your wounds become your wisdom, your scars become your strength, your healing becomes your gift to the world. Watch how the people who once triggered you lose their power over you. Watch how the memories that once tormented you become sources of compassion. Watch how the experiences that once broke you become the foundation of your unshakable strength. But more than watching, participate. More than understanding, embody. More than believing, become. Become the person who sees every challenge as a gift. Become the person who finds the lesson in every loss. Become the person who transforms every wound into wisdom and every setback into a setup for something greater. Because the deepest truth is this: you came here not to be comfortable, but to be conscious. Not to be safe, but to be sovereign. Not to be protected from the storms of existence, but to discover that you are the sky in which all storms arise and pass away. You came here to learn that you are not your experiences. You are the one who experiences. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who thinks. You are not your emotions. You are the one who feels. You came here to discover that you are not the movie. You are the screen on which every movie plays. You are not the music. You are the silence from which every note emerges. You are not the dance. You are the space in which every movement unfolds. They didn't hurt you. They revealed where you needed to heal. And now you know. Now you can begin. Now you can choose. Choose to see your teachers in everyone who challenges you. Choose to find your strength in every weakness they expose. Choose to discover your power in every place they reveal your powerlessness. Choose to be grateful not just for those who love you easily, but for those who love you enough to show you where you still need to love yourself. The real work starts here, in this moment, in this silence, in this sacred recognition of your own unbreakable wholeness. Welcome to your true power. Welcome to your authentic healing. Welcome to the place where victims become teachers and wounds become windows, and every ending becomes a new beginning. The journey continues. The healing deepens. The silence calls you home. And in that silence, you will finally hear the truth that has been whispering to you all along. You are never broken. You are always whole. You were always free. You just forgot. But now you remember. Now you know.